Alright, so this is going to be part A. As you can see, there's voltage running through the diode, which is this thing over here, and then the current also runs then in through the resistor over here. So if we look at the data we collected for part A, is that over here is going to be the current, which we measured by taking the voltage of the resistor and dividing it then by the resistance, and then over here the y-axis is going to be the voltage. So if we see over here, it's sort of like a logarithmic scale in the sense that it's like the slope is much less steep over here, and then it goes steeper over here, which is what it's supposed to look like. So this is part B. It's the same setup as part A, except that it has a capacitor in it. So if we look at the data we collected, this is actually part B without the capacitor, and essentially this is the input and the output looks like this. The reason why there's a flat line over here is the diode prevents current from traveling backward, which is why when the sine curve is supposed to be less than 0, it just stops at 0 over here for the output, because that's what the diode does. Now here is the data with the capacitor, and it looks like this. Essentially, like the Vn is still like a sine curve, but it just sort of goes along with it, and it gets cut off in the middle because that's also the function of the diode. This is part C of our circuit. It essentially is the same as part B in the sense that it doesn't have a capacitor, but the only difference is that there's an amplifier over there, which is why if you look at the results over here, the diode also cuts it off so that the output doesn't go negative, so that's why it gets cut off over here. But the amplitude that does happen is the same as the amplitude as the input, and the reason is because we have an amplifier. And also, because it is amplified though, there's a slew rate over here, as you can see, which looks like the notch, and the higher the frequency, the bigger the slew rate. So if you see, this is higher frequency, slew rate is larger.